Hello and welcome to part 74. In this video, we will see some of the other important methods that are available in list class, and those methods we have not discussed yet. So the first one is true for all. True for all returns true or false depending on whether if every element in the list matches the condition defined by the specific predicate. So basically what we will do in this method, we will check all the items are matching some particular condition or not. Let's go to Visual Studio and try this out. Okay, so I have opened up my Visual Studio. Here I have created a simple customer class that has three properties: ID, name, and address. And what I have done, I have created a list named customers, and I have added three customer in my list, right? And I'm printing those three customer. Okay, so what true for all can do, if I want to check a condition on all the elements, suppose I want to check if all my customers are having name that is of length greater than 3. So what I can do, I can say customers, right? This is our list object, and on this I will put a dot here and I will find true for all, like this. And if you check this method, it returns a boolean and it will take a predicate. And if you remember, predicate is nothing but a condition. So what we can do, we can specify a condition here: customer x such that x dot name dot length is greater than 3, right? So what we are checking, we are checking if elements present in my list having a name property and that name property is having length greater than 3 or not. If it is true for all the customer, then it will return true, else it will return false. Let's see this. So let me declare a variable bool and let me call it result. Okay, and now let's just print the result. Let's remove this piece of code for now and run this application. You can see we are receiving true because all the customers in our customer list are having name with length greater than 3. But let's suppose I will change my condition to, I will change it such that it will fail for one customer. Let's say I will put 4, 3, 7 and 8. So this customer is having length of 8 characters, right? So I will say if all the customers are having name greater than 9 or maybe 8 also, because it is equal to 8, it is not greater than 8. So this condition will not be true for this particular customer and we should be receiving a false result here. Let's run this program. You will notice we are receiving a false here because this particular predicate or this particular condition is not true for all the customers. It is false for the first one. Okay, so this is how true for all will work. Now let's move to the next method, that is as read only. It returns a read only wrapper for the current collection. Use this method if you don't want the client to modify this collection. So if you want to create a read only kind of collection and you don't want anyone to modify, meaning you don't want anyone to add or remove elements from your list or your collection, you can use this method and this will return a read only collection. Guys, remember the difference. It will not return you a list, it will return you a read only collection. Okay, a list is also a collection, but in list we can add or remove elements, but in a read only collection we cannot add or remove elements. Okay, you can only read the elements but you cannot remove or add it. Okay, let's go to Visual Studio and see this also. So let's remove this piece of code, and what I want to do, I want to change my customer list to a read only collection. So what I can call customer dot as read only, and if you hover over on the read only method, you will see it returns a collection and the collection of read only type, right? And you can see the description also returns a read only collection wrapper for the current collection. So it will convert our list to a read-only collection. So I can store this result in a read-only collection of customer. Let me call it customers. So I have to use this interface, I read only collection here, right? And now let's see if we are able to add a new customer to this collection or not. So if I say customers arrow dot, you will see there is no add method in the list, right? There is no add method. If I try to put add here, you will see we will get a compilation error. It will say add method is not available, right? And similarly, there will be no remove method also, right? Because remove is also not available for this collection, but we can read from this collection. So let's use a for each loop, right? And just print the customer's name like this. And if I run my program now, you can see I'm able to print the customer names. So guys, this is how you can use read-only collection by using the method as read-only. Okay, now let's move to the next method, that is TrimExcess. This sets the capacity to the actual number of the elements present in the list if that number is less than the threshold value. Let's see this in Visual Studio. So what we can do when creating a list, we can define the capacity here, meaning how many elements we are going to store. And again guys, list is dynamic in nature. Even if you specify some number here, it does not mean it will not allow you to add any more elements in that. It is just a way to tell the compiler, I want to create a collection of this much size, so that compiler will allocate some memory for you. So what I can do, I can specify this size. Yes, let's say I have specified size 1000 here, right? And if I try to print the capacity of my customers at this point, right? Let's remove this piece of code. You will notice we have the capacity 1000. So I have added 3 customer, but there is a lot of space empty in my collection, in my list collection, right? And to trim that extra space, what we can do, we can invoke TrimExcess method, right? And if I print the capacity after this, you can see here, first the capacity was 1000, and after calling the TrimExcess method, it has reduced the capacity to 3, right? But again, always remember, this is a dynamic collection. If we add an element in our list, again, let me add this element with ID 4, and let's print the capacity one more time like this and run the program. You will notice the capacity is again increased to 6, right? So this is the use case of TrimExcess. Let's move to the next method, that is ForEach. So guys, before this, you were using ForEach loop like this, right? You were using a ForEach loop, you were using this kind of syntax and printing all the elements of the collection. But there is an inbuilt ForEach method also that you can utilize. Let me show you how. Let me first remove this piece of code. We don't need this. And let's remove this hard-coded capacity from this collection. Okay, so what ForEach can do, instead of writing this method like this, what I can do, I can simply invoke customers dot ForEach method. And if you hover over on the ForEach method, you will notice it takes an action. Guys, we will understand in the upcoming videos what is an action, but you can understand for now, action is a kind of method that we are declaring on fly. Meaning when calling this ForEach method, I will be declaring and calling that method. So what I will be doing here, this ForEach method takes the customer object like this. And what we can do now, I can put curly braces here, and within the curly braces I will say print x dot name, and after that maybe I will print x dot address also, like this. So instead of using a for each like this, I can call for each using this for each method itself. I don't have to declare a new for each loop, because in C# the list collection is already having a for each method. So if you want to make the syntax a bit better, you can write the code like this, so it will be more readable, right? And if you want to add a separator like this, you can put that also. And let's comment out this piece of code and run the application. You will notice we are able to iterate through all the elements using this for each method. Okay, so guys, that's it for this video. This concludes all the topic that I wanted to discuss with you regarding list class. And from the upcoming videos, we are going to understand queue collection.